right, good morning everyone. Welcome to the last pre-market session of July 2026. Good morning, good morning, good morning Jagdeep, good morning Prashanti, good morning everyone. All right, so let's get started here. Let's get started and go from there. All right, so let's take a look at the overall market and the news, and we'll take a look at the earning plays after that. All right, so first of all, what happened yesterday? Yesterday we were basically seeing the reaction of the market to Microsoft earning, which basically helped fuel the AI infrastructure and AI trade. Semiconductors continued to lead yesterday. We saw a massive deep buying on a lot of semiconductors, and that was basically the theme of yesterday. Even though Meta didn't have a great earning overall and a great performance, Microsoft gapped up and had a massive earning. Now, the biggest story for today is Amazon, right? It's Amazon. Basically revenue beat expectation. AWS revenue grew around 37% year over year, and basically cloud demand is extremely strong, obviously, and they raised the capex to 220 billion, which means that there is a massive AI infrastructure spending. Positive news for obviously semiconductors, and as a result it will affect a lot of semiconductor names as well. Apple, on the other hand, beat the earning. EPS was beat, revenue roughly in line, and the problem was the guidance. The supply constraint expected to worsen in the next quarter, and now Apple is down around 8%, right? So the guidance is very important. It's a lot more important than the past earning, because the earning is for the past quarter, the guidance is for the future, and investors are looking for the future progress or result. Okay, so and it is going to be interesting to see how Apple's slower AI spending will be compared to Amazon and let's say Microsoft overall. SMH is pretty strong for the day, which we will go over the price action shortly, and a lot of semiconductor names are looking strong as well. We'll take a look at NVIDIA, AMD, and a couple of other semiconductor names. Now, we had employment cost index. The expected was 0.8%, actually 0.9. Labor cost is still remaining elevated, and inflation still remain around like the same range and remain sticky. So the main concern, basically dominating sentiment for the day is going to be AI spending, and the earnings by Apple and Amazon. Oil is around $85, and it is still holding at the high prices so far. And with that being said, I guess these are going to be the most important earnings. We had Coinbase as well, missed revenue. It had weak guidance, and the stock is under pressure overall, but the price action didn't really provide any major opportunity on coin. It's still holding the same range it has been trading for a while. Reddit had strong earning, and it's sharply down. Expectations were high for the stock, and ExxonMobil had slight earning miss, and oil is higher, but stock is relatively flat. In addition to that, we had we are obviously, that would be it for the whole day on the earnings side and economic events side for a day. Now let's take a look at the overall market. Let's start with S&P 500 and see what is happening so far. So yesterday, on Thursday, when we had the whole news about FOMC, about GDP, and the major events, economic events for the week was released, we saw the overall market started bouncing higher, pushed all the way higher, hit 742.3 zone, which is the moving average on S&P 500. It's like right there. Now, what happened so far in the pre-market? We were able to break through this zone, right? And then push back down and retest the same 743 zone that we were not able to break for the last couple of days. We are right around the 9 and 21 EMA on daily chart and the 50 SMA on daily chart as well. So in case SPY, then possibly we are going to see another pushback lower, and technically seeing a rejection of moving averages on daily chart and 50 SMA as well, and a sell-off, a retest of 735, and ultimately maybe around 730. So we are right at a very critical point on S&P 500, and in case the price stays in this range, which I don't think that would have really high probability of happening, but in case if the price stays in this range, the best bet is to just avoid taking trades around on S&P 500. So the most ideal scenario is basically a continuation move higher and a retest of 746 and control of this level by the bid, and going for a long opportunity, long setups on S&P 500. The reason is that we already had a breakout, we already had a retest, and the price already held this zone. Now I want to see if it can bounce here and continue moving higher. Qs. Let's take a look at Qs here. So QQQ obviously started pushing higher with the whole semiconductor and the overall market yesterday. We saw Qs retesting around 9 EMA, which was around this 685, 600, almost 85.5 yesterday. And this zone was a major resistance zone that the price kept reacting to multiple times before. Now what happened? Let me get rid of this one. Now what happened yesterday? What happened in the pre-market? We broke out of this zone. We retested the zone, and we are bouncing above this zone. The same setup on that we saw on SPY, except SPY is leading here and Qs is obviously lagging, and it's still holding below the moving averages. As you see here, we have the 9 EMA on daily chart, and we're seeing a bounce above that zone, and the 21 EMA on daily chart is around 702 area. Now we have this whole zone. This whole red zone is basically this basically cloud between 9 and 21 EMA that still acts as a resistance, and historically this zone was actually a massive resistance zone for Qs as well. So we are approaching this whole resistance area, and in case of seeing a buying pressure, there might be an opportunity for seeing Qs pushing higher, retesting this 701, 702 zone, and depending on the reaction to this area, we'll plan for the next steps of the trade, because that would be the next major resistance. And if we break it, then we're gonna see another push higher on Qs, which will be basically changing this short-term trend on QQQ. Basically, we will be breaking the 9 and 21 EMA, which are going to be massive levels for QQQ if that breaks. But if we reject here, or reject these zones and push lower, or start selling off and break below 686, 685-ish zone, then technically we are rejecting the moving averages, right? And we'll start selling off, and we'll see a lower low, a lower high, and then continuation to the downside on QQQ. Now, if that happens, obviously a breakdown below 686, 684, sorry, 685, 686 can be a good opportunity for shorting Qs, and the target would be around 677, and then the next level would be around 665-ish area. SMH, what is happening here on SMH? Let's take a look at the daily chart. Now, on SMH, very similar to Qs. We're seeing that we sold off on Wednesday in the post FOMC volatility. Yesterday we bounced, we reclaimed the levels and retested the moving averages, the 9 EMA on the daily chart, and now we're seeing a breakout, a retest of the zone, and very similar to SPY and obviously Qs. In case of seeing a reclaim above this 559 almost, and controlled by the bid, you could see the price pushing higher, hit 566, and then ultimately 574 as the next major level of resistance on SMH, which is right around 21 EMA on daily chart as well. Then after that we have 585. That is if the strength continues and we break through these resistance walls. If we reject it, if we get below 550, 551 zone, then again this will indicate a retest of this resistance, the 9 and 21 EMA cloud, and reject that zone and pushing lower. And if that again happens, we will see this will be our demand zone. 533, 534 as the first demand zone, and then we can go down till 510 on SMH. So let's take a look at some individual tickers. The first one, Apple. Apple had earning. We already talked about it, and it gapped down. Now let's take a look at the gap down area. If you take a look at the daily chart, this zone of 313, 315 on Apple was the resistance zone. At the time, it was the all-time high. Apple kept rejecting it, and then finally we were able to retest this zone. We rejected the zone, finally broke out, retested, and pushed all the way higher. We retested this zone another time around July 23rd, and then pushed all the way higher. We failed, and then after the earning we gapped down. Now we are gapping down and we are retesting this same zone after the gap down. Now if I take a look at the 15-minute chart, you will see it a lot more cleaner. We sold off, broke through this zone, retested the zone, rejected, and we are selling off. Now this is a textbook breakdown, retest, rejection and sell off on Apple, and we are breaking below the 50 SMA on daily chart, which is again on daily chart is right here. You see this blue line? We are breaking down below that zone as well. So we are breaking the sellers are breaking down all the demand layers, all the like two of the most important layers, and the price is still holding below these zones. Now the resistance levels I would like to watch would be 310 and then the whole 312, 315 zone on Apple. So in case the price retests these areas, I want to look for some sort of rejection here on Apple for any kind of short setup. But if we break out of this zone and push higher, we're going to go for a possible gap fill reversal setup on Apple. But if the rejection happens and the price starts selling off and keeps selling off, then below 305, definitely on watch for a sell-off continuation on Apple. The next major level would be around 303. That level breaks, the next zone would be around 295 on AAPL. Tesla is still holding in the same range, forming inside day so far. Now the only thing is that we retested 315. Let's zoom a little bit here. We retested this 315 and look what 315 is. It's a rejection. It's a level that we bounced, we rejected, and now we are rejecting this zone again. So the main level that I would like to watch would be around this 315, 316 on Tesla, to see if it can break out of this zone and go for a basically retest. It will be a retest on higher time frame, but it will be a bullish setup on a smaller time frame. And if that happens, the target would be around 325, 330 resistance zone on Tesla. In case of sell-off continuation, a breakdown below 305 could also give us some short opportunities for a retest of 300, 295 on TSLA. Okay, but the best setup in my opinion is seeing a pullback or basically a retest on the daily chart, retest to 325, 330 even, and rejection, and then continuation on a possible basically sell-off continuation on Tesla. That would be the ideal scenario that I would be watching on Tesla. NVIDIA held the 200 SMA and 150 SMA clearly in the last 2 days, and right now we're seeing a breakout of this zone, a retest of 197, 196, and again, like SMH and Qs, if we see NVIDIA breaking through 198, 199, which is showing some sort of strength right now, this could push NVIDIA's price all the way higher to 200 and then 202 as the next major levels. Now keep that in mind. On NVIDIA we have the 9 EMA and 21 EMA right here, so 200 and 202 zone would be important resistance zones on NVIDIA that needs to be broken. Google, still not that interested in Google's price action. I want to see Google probably out of 350 or below 325. AMD looks obviously strong here, and as you see, we are breaking through the moving average cloud. The earning is going to be in 2 trading days, right, in the next Tuesday, right? But and obviously the option contracts will be expensive if you want to trade options. On the price action side, we are seeing the prices holding right below this resistance of 512, 515 on AMD. Now, if AMD hold this level and break through this 512 zone, we could possibly see AMD pushing higher, hitting 520 and 530-ish zone. In case of rejection here, below 500 zone, we could possibly see AMD rejecting and basically selling off. Technically, it will be a breakdown, retest of these moving averages, and continuation to the downside. Now, AMD has earning in 2 days, and in my opinion, Intel would be a better name to focus on. Intel and MU, if you want to focus on semiconductors. Now, what's happening on Intel? We're seeing we saw a breakdown, a retest. Now, with the whole market strength, we are seeing the prices technically holding this zone, right? The break of structure happened and the price is holding right above 94 zone. Now above 97, we could possibly push higher, hit 102 zone, and that would be our next major resistance area on Intel, right? Around these areas. Okay. After that, we have 107, 106 resistance zone, which technically makes sense, right? So our first resistance zone would be obviously the 21 EMA, which is around 100, 101, and we are approaching that level. That breaks, we could go for 107. So Intel looks pretty strong and promising. Meta is still holding above this demand zone, above 557 and below 519, definitely on watch. Microsoft above yesterday high, definitely on watch for a possible continuation, and the key demand would be 443. Amazon had a beautiful breakout, and this level, you guys remember, I talked about this 259, 260 yesterday. We broke out of it, retested, and we are going higher. Amazon definitely on top watch for the day. So Amazon broke out of this zone, 259, and retested this zone and is pushing all the way higher. Now we have this whole resistance on Amazon, which is the all-time high, technically all-time high resistance. After this break, the next major zone on Amazon would be 270, 273, and then the all-time high. So definitely Amazon on watch for a continuation right above this 266. Okay, so please share the plays and the tickers that you are watching for the day. And with that being said, I will going to trade live with my team. So if you want to join us, make sure you check out the link in the description, and hope to see you inside.